All right, family, greetings. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV Every Time Fire out here in beloved Buffalo, New York, the home of my favorite artist, the mighty brother Rick James. And it's my absolute privilege and honor to be in the company once again of his oldest brother, Brother Carmen, and the bodyguard of Brother Rick James, who sits in the back there. He's got the mask on. He's a pretty big brother, but he was the bodyguard of Rick James. I think he told me at the Funk Fest for, was it, you said 15, 10 years? 16 years. 16 years, yes, sir. 16 years. And I'm going to be stopping because I don't know where I'm going. We on the way. Okay. We on the way to Orchard Park just to take a look at the Rick James house, that ranch. If you've seen, I know some of you, most of you seen him when you used to ride those horses on the property. Well, that's where we're going. We just going to take a peek at it and document, our brother Rick James. If you remember, family, I said about 6 years ago in front of his uh, at the cemetery that we wasn't gonna let people reduce him to just a super freak, and that he was so much more than that. Little did I know after watching that documentary how much more he actually is. Brother Carmen,
Yes,
talk
sir.
to the people.
Hey, how you doing, man? My name is Carmen, and I'm Rick's oldest brother. We're going to Orchard Park, a little a suburb of Buffalo, where we moved to in the '70s, late '70s, after my brother got big, and we always call it the ranch, and it belonged to a black doctor. It was a predominantly white area, just about. But this house that we bought, it belonged to a black surgeon named Dunn, I believe. So when we bought it, we were just kind of taking over where he left off, and Rick immediately started spreading out on it. Eventually, it had a studio in the basement. It already had a tennis court, basketball court in the back. It had a barn for horses, and it was pretty well ready for to be occupied. So we moved up right away into a different notch than it had been in before, and most of the band stayed there at the one time or another. It was a real communal type thing, because that's how he was. We lived there as well as band members in the early days, and that's before he moved out to California, which happened very quickly. But we always kept this property. He always kept this, and he added on to it. He bought the house next door to us. So it was two properties, pretty large tract, and it ran back to a little community right behind us. I think it was called Snow Street. But we had a lot of back lot. I used to call it the back 40. And a lot of activities happened here. And it was a nice place to be. And actually, it was one of our bigger houses. We were much smaller places. So this was the first move that we had that was into a larger house. And like I said, it was called the ranch. Shortly behind that, he bought a place from my mother down on Capon, which was about a 29-room mansion. And then he bought or rented out in L.A., Coldwater Canyon, the Hearst Mansion. But this is the Buffalo branch, and we'll see Capon after you see the Orchard Park estate. So we're driving that way now with the brother. It'll take us a few minutes to get there. A lot of things happen. People coming from out of town would normally stay out here, or we always kept a block of rooms at the Holiday Inn on Delaware. Always had an accommodation coming from out of town. There's always a lot of traffic, especially after he built the studio in the basement, and it was pretty large, and it seen a lot of traffic. Also, he started the Funky Cheese dress line, clothing line, and he brought in Chris Lee and his wife from Hawaii, and they were stationed in Orchard Park. They had offices there, and they had a small factory. So it became one of our main centers, or one of his main centers to make more money. And and that's basically it.
That's the same place that Eddie Murphy got snowed in?
Yeah, this is where they did party all the time, and they got snowed in for, how long was that, Orange? For a couple of weeks? Yeah, a couple of weeks, man. And so they did the primary work at the ranch, and then we went down to New York and into the Eddie Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix studio to polish it off. And Eddie and Charlie and all of us were down there, and that's what they put together. And then they took it to Motown or wherever they shopped it at, and I think that was a million seller for Eddie. That was his first one. That was his first album, and he'd been on tour. I think he was just finishing the Delirious tour, so he was getting big then too, and they became fast friends, almost brothers. So it was kind of interesting. Charlie came out of service and joined us, and he had Fruity. He had his own little security unit, Cognac and Fruity and all those guys. So we got to know each other pretty good. And while we were out in California, after we finished the album, I don't know if he did the Beverly Hills Cop behind that or not. I think he started that. So we started spending a lot of time together, Rick and Eddie and his crew. And that relationship lasted a long time. Eddie was cool too. Well, all his family was cool.
What did you think about the documentary, Brother Carmen?
I thought it was beautiful. They had a showing here about a couple of weeks back at a theater over on Hurdle, and I had already seen it on Showtime, but I went over. I was invited over, and we went over, and the brother was there. What is it? Bashaka?
Sasha Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to Brother Sasha.
Yeah,
and shout out to Sister Ty James.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward, sister. Don't stop here. Because your father has such a tremendous legacy. I love the documentary, and keep moving forward. And you have a beautiful family here too, Sister Ty, by the way, here in Buffalo, New York. I just wanted to get that powerful shout out to our Sister Ty. I'm keeping straight. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite nieces, and we're kind of close.
Yeah.
With her, and she has some daughters. In fact, it's my plans to go out that way as soon as the snow hits here. But anyway, I was impressed by the documentary, even though I had already seen it, and I had a chance to join the question and answer thing that followed it. Oscar, the bass player, was invited up on the stage, so I made my presence known, and I joined them, and it was pretty interesting. There's some good questions, and most of the feedback was very positive from that, and that's the longest one that I've seen. One of the better ones, probably the best one I've seen, and I've seen at least 4 or 5 others, official ones, and 3 or 4 books out. But that was great. I thought it was great. It had a great response to it. It covered a lot of the subject matter about my brother that I hadn't ever seen before. I knew of it. I wasn't present for a lot of that because his pre-years, there was a lot of separation there. But I watched him grow up, and I wasn't aware of a lot of his Canadian activities personally. I mean, I knew when him and my mother were going over there, and they would bootleg records. They'd go over there, and they would do different records and stuff. Back then, it was the vinyl, and it was cheaper to make there. And he would cut stuff, and they would bootleg it back across the border, and he would sell it, go around to places, sort of like the rappers did later on. I think they picked that up probably from him too. They could make more money selling out of the trunk of their cars than they could make being with a major company. So that's another little piece. But I enjoyed it. I let the brother know, and I look to have some more contact with him from time to time, or anytime he's back in town. I think he's from here, and he carries a family name. The Jenkins is part of our clan. I haven't explored that to see how much we're related, but I look at him as just a another one of our brothers. Anyway, he did a great job. Thank you very much, brother. Job well done.
Right, well, we're going to end it now, family. And I usually don't even start the video about Rick James without giving peace and love and maximum respect to his mother, Mrs. Gladden. So that powerful black woman. So we never want to forget her. And it's just something in my spirit that makes me mention her every time I utter the words of our brother Rick James. And since I've been coming here, it's my belief. I've been to the several interviews at the grave site that Rick James sent his brother to me. And thank you for that, brother Rick. And I will keep doing the right thing, my dear brother. And thank you so much. And thank you, brother Carmen, for giving me the time of day and your bodyguard back there. I just thank both of y'all. I feel very privileged and honored that you all would give me some of your time.
Thank you, brother.
And on that note, we're going to say peace. We out.